Yes, guys, good morning. I hope you're all doing very well. Now, this is the first of the early shows that I'm doing. I say early, it's 9:30 now. So I'm thinking, we're looking at this about timing wise for shows, especially for this new emphasis we've got going on. So the push for me and Yon and a few others, a team of people that we've selected, that we've put together that kind of are on the same page. We had a conflab over Christmas period and months before then, and over the course of the sort of the last year or so. Um, I spoke to someone a couple of months ago, had a really good chat about direction, about the show, about what I can contribute and how I can help our corner of the fitness industry. And I was asked the question, who's my audience? And I just said CrossFitters. Um, and but who are those CrossFitters? G'day, Wade. How we doing? Good evening to you. I'm assuming. I'm assuming you are in the lovely land down under. Um, but yeah, let me know. So if it is the case, good evening. It's 9:30 here. So yeah, I spoke to someone very important to me in terms of the influence they've had on me over the years. But I've spoke to this person a couple of times, and I had a really, really good phone call, and they propositioned me with the idea that I hadn't really 3:30 a.m. in Texas. Blimey, blimey. Well, you're up nice and early or late, depending on what you're up to. No shenanigans, please. None of that dirty stuff. Um, my proposition put to me was, who are you directly speaking to? And it was a really good question because a lot of the time when I come on, I'll have a general kind of idea about what I want to talk about and have a topic, but I'm not really addressing anyone specifically. So if you have a look at every other show out there that's been going for a while, experience there, um, it does take a lot to come on live, obviously, and talk, especially if it's just yourself without a guest. It's quite a big undertaking if you're unused to talking to yourself on a camera. Um, and a microphone. But it's another thing to have plan a direction and a specific audience for that show. So, for example, if Pedro goes live and he has JR on and they're talking about programming, that is specifically to programmers and specifically to people that give a shit about programming. If Savon goes live and he's talking about a shooting in Minnesota, he is talking politics. He's talking to Americans that want to be involved with politics. You see where I'm going? Jenny, her thing goes out. It's discussion around topics that have come up in the CrossFit universe, whether it's drama with Daniel Brandon or if it's the sale of CrossFit or whatever it might be. That current affairs bubble that people love to be in, it appeals to them, which is great. Name every other show that's out there. They have direction, they have purpose, they have exact kind of audience for themselves. I was not arrogant. I was under the impression that CrossFit was one big thing and one big audience. Now, I think over the last sort of year or so, I've learned a very valuable lesson in so much as you can have all the tools, you can have all the expertise, you can have all the knowledge. But at the end of the day, you have to be talking a specific patois. You have to be talking specifically to a group of people. You have to know not just what you're talking about, but who you're talking to. It's like if I went up in a church and started talking about CrossFit, it wouldn't really be the right audience necessarily, right? So on this show, I do always have an idea about what I want to talk about. Like today, I've got 5 different sort of macro subjects that I'd like to talk about. However, each of those needs to sort of be aligned with an audience, with a group. Now, here's the thing. So this is what I'm getting to. So I was asked who my audience is, and it's more of a process of elimination. It's more like the Higgs boson, right? It's because of the absence of others that you find yourself with your audience, right? So the people I don't talk to are probably international audience, I probably don't talk to them just purely because of the timing of the day and because of the context of what I talk about and the language. My accent annoys people. I know, unbelievable. I don't appeal to really religious people because I don't really talk about it very often and it's not part of my life. I don't talk to people that don't enjoy coaching or programming or the essence of the affiliate. They won't tune in and they won't want to listen to me talking about why it annoys me that people don't put the boxes away, that kind of thing, right? So this big process of elimination, having a look at what is out there already, who's taking up the space anyway. There's already people doing all the different jobs. I can't do what Hiller does. I can't do that. He's got a very unique way, and it's he's built that over 4 or 5 years now, and it's working for him. And what an excellent job and ambassador he is for what we do. If I am to remain in this space, and if I am to grow, and if I am to learn, and if I am to actually contribute to what we do, because at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. It's about contributing towards something. There's 0 point in me coming on for the sake of filling up an ego, talking shit and hoping for likes and views. That matters not. It's a nothing to me. And getting back to the question, my space that I feel is I'm a coach through and through, aside from family, right? That's the biggest part of my life. Put that aside. What am I in CrossFit? I am a trainer. I'm a coach. I've done nearly 22,000 hours of CrossFit classes now, plus all the PT and weightlifting that I do. I've been in the space for about 15 years. I'm not one for getting involved with politics. I want to talk gym floor. I want to talk about what happens at the CrossFit gyms, the affiliates, the coaching, the systems that we have, the relationships with our members, how to run events at the gyms, what events there are for our members to go to, exploring that, growing the affiliates. And it is great to see that it's become fashionable in the last couple of weeks for us to talk about the affiliates and the open. But personally, I see it as waves. It comes and goes around this time. As soon as it becomes fashionable, because the open's coming up, people want to talk about the affiliates again. They want to talk about how to run a gym. They want to talk about programming. They want to do all this kind of thing because it will get the views at this time of the year. That's not me. I'm consistent with my message, and I won't then flip between one thing and the other throughout the year. Now, that may well mean that I get 10 views a video. That's fine by me. If those 10 people are watching and they're enjoying what I'm doing and it's helping affiliates grow, if it helps give ideas, if having a guest on, I've got some really cool guests coming on, putting out these ideas into the ether where people will pick up maybe of information that can help at the affiliate. For me, that is a massive win. And that is my audience. I want to talk to affiliates on the gym floor, me, the boring one at the affiliate. I'm not the coach that will light up the room. I'm not the person that will go to and compete at the games. I am that stalwart of the gym trainer that is there, and I do it because I love being there. And for me, it's not flash in the pan. For me, it is consistency, and I'm not bothered about whether I'm liked. What I'm bothered about is I'm trying to get the message out there that what we've got is consistency, and you see it reflected in training. The people that stick with this the longest, that avoid injuries the most, that get the most out of their time at the gym, the people that stick at the gym, sign up for the open every year, enjoy being part of this community and want it to spread. They're the people that are managing consistency and not flipping between one thing and another. And for me, that's my audience. And I understand that that's going to refine it a little bit more. But for me, that is what CrossFit means. And it might not be the fashionable stuff. It might be the reason that all the podcasts and chat and talk and videos and literature and journals and everything aren't the fashionable stuff. It's not the stuff that gets the most amount of views and likes. But for me, that's the stuff that's important. That's the stuff that is essential for this thing to continue, because you can talk about all the periphery stuff. You can talk about the games all you like. You can talk about what Noble are bringing out this year, or whoever this year's apparel partner is. You can talk all about it. At the end of the day, if you don't have the basics and fundamentals and the base, which is why this is called the base, the basics, the foundations of what we have established and set, refined, continued to grow and to nurture and talked about, you don't have any of the other stuff, which is why this show is essential for me to talk, to get guests on. And I'm gonna talk about who I've got coming on soon. And yeah, I've talked to a few people, and Jon is going to be more involved. He's always been involved, obviously, but both Jon and I have freed up some time, and we're going to be pressing on with a British theme. We want to talk about Britain, and this is the second stage of what I was talking about. Now, in that audience I talked about, people love to represent their country. People love to talk about what they've going on in the local community. People love to understand and hear about wins and people in their local community. The Americans do this ever so well. They build, they reflect, they talk about, they brag, they discuss, they hype their own. And that's not natural in the British psyche to do that. We applaud, we celebrate, we love the underdog, and we love talking about other people's wins, but it's gauche. It's not cool to talk about your own thing, right? And I don't feel that CrossFit, because I found out a stat yesterday, the UK has the 4th largest per capita number of CrossFit gyms globally. We are 4th at the moment, right? That can only build. I'm so damn proud of that. We have got this amazing community in the British Isles of CrossFitters gym. We've got incredible events. We've got incredible. Wow, Jeffro, you're up nice and early. Good morning, sir. Off to coach. We've got incredible people that have been with us for 15, 20 years running CrossFit Europe and globally from the UK. We've got gyms that have been open now for plus 15, 16, 17 years as affiliates. We've got some of the best coaches, some of the best seminar staff, got some of the best athletes on earth now. We've got some incredible facilities. We have got an incredible British CrossFit community that goes unspoken about. No one is talking about it. And for me, that's a damn shame. And I really feel like at this juncture, being given the proposition of who is your audience, my personal belief is my audience for this show is British CrossFit gyms. That is who I should be talking to. And that is therefore who I will be talking to this year, starting now, or starting this year so far. I've very, very fortunately over the last 9 years, 9 months, I know it's been ages now. I've had a baby in that time. I've had the very good fortune of being able to meet, discuss CrossFit with, meet in person, travel, speak to, have dinner with, have intellectual debates with people that are very established in our community. And this platform has allowed me the opportunity to do that. And it's given me this direction. It takes a long time. Pedro took 3 years. Savon took 3 years. Hiller took probably, I reckon, 2.5, 3 years to really get himself established and get his foot in the door. And everyone knows, he is established now after 4 years. It does take time to refine and go through. And any affiliate owner will know this. You don't get it right in the first year. The first 18 months, you're scraping by. You get the newbie gains, obviously. You're scraping by. You hit that 2-year period, and then you're like, right, the reality of this gym ownership is kicking in now. Now it's time to really refine and get our systems better, get our membership retention better. Is our program? You start asking yourself questions. It's the same as members. We get to that magic 2-year period and we ask ourselves these questions again. We have to refine and we have to go through. There's a Glassman quote about when you think you've mastered and you've completed everything, go back to the beginning and do it better. You have to go through this constant churn of refinement, which is a really important thing for everyone to be able to reflect. And I think our CrossFit community globally, we nurture that system, that scientific approach, test again, test again, test again. Otherwise, we just sit on our morals, we get dogmatic, and we don't question and we don't ever develop. And that is the essence of what we do at the affiliate, right? So for me, it's this ongoing thing. And at present, at the moment, I feel one, there's a massive market in Britain for someone to be talking about the affiliate level and what's going on consistently year round, just focusing on that. Two, that is what gets me going. That is what I am. That is what I do. I've been doing that for a long time now. And I do also have the privilege of knowing many, many people across the British Isles that are involved at the affiliate level that I really want to get involved and talk to. I had Stephen Rayner from Tweebank in Scotland in the Borders on last week. Was it last week? Yes, Sunday. Like I said, affiliate owner. He's a media person, so he goes around events doing media. Incredible guy. He's massive on TikTok. He's got a lovely beard. Lovely beard. You know, I want Stephen to be really hyped up and promoted and be involved with this thing because he's a prominent name and a prominent figure. Obviously, we've got Gareth Nandy at CrossFit UK, like incredible guys doing an amazing job, an incredible job at this really difficult time for CrossFit over the last couple of years. And they've been doing every event I've been to, they are there, you know, and they've got families and they've got affiliates themselves and they're doing this work. Andy's online every day now, doing posts on Instagram talking about affiliates and what to do and what it's like being in his role, what it's like to be there. Awesome. That is exactly what we need, especially coming from a man of his expertise and experience. Yon, my man, expertise in coaching around CrossFit so that the periphery sports and feeding into it. He's a coach through and through. He's done his L1. He's studying again. He is a coach. He understands how to psychologically work with people. He understands the gym floor. He's a funny guy and he's dedicated to his craft. I want people that are dedicated to this craft of bettering people and understanding it. We have got so many people in the British CrossFit scene that I believe can make our online presence. Now, using logic of what Suze said, about Hill has said, what Savon said, about what everyone and Hill has said, using the logic of we want more eyes on Don Full, getting more people into the gyms, right? Using that logic, how can we get more people into our gyms? That is the essence of what we're doing in media. We're obviously talking about and celebrating what we've got, but also we are a recruitment tool for CrossFit affiliates. That is what I see my role as. I'm recruiting and helping to recruit for affiliates and growing them. That is what I want to do for this. That's how I want to contribute, right? That applies to third parties as well. I want to grow them with them. People like Hannah at the Academy program. I want her to be a national name for schools. I want that thing to be a national charity, which it is growing. I want the BF3 to grow because I think that's a really cool idea for functional fitness as a sport, getting involved at a governmental level and growing that. I want the affiliates to grow. I want an affiliate within every mile of where I'm at in the UK and in the British Isles. We need them. And the way that we do that, the way that I can help towards that is to really discuss what we've got available for people to draw them in. That is how I see my role here. So the direction that we're going to have, obviously, like I said, we've got a few good guests lining up. Who is next? I'm just going to have a look at who we've got next. Let's have a looky. What is it today? It's the 8th. I have got Abby Wynne Jones, who is joining me from London. Now, she is an adaptive athlete who got bronze at the Adaptive Games in Las Vegas this year. So she's coming on again from London, British as you like, representing us at the games. So she's coming on to discuss about her experience at the games, what it's like to be a CrossFit athlete, what it's like to be at the gym, her training, adaptations she has to make. I just want to know because, again, I work with a lady called Claire. I work with a guy called Alfie who are in sport, in para sport, as we call it outside of CrossFit. I understanding what the difference in training patterns, the difference in accommodations, and understanding. I think that could be a really good thing, and we need to get more people aware that we do have that at the affiliates. We need to grow that side of the affiliates. If I asked every single affiliate member, do you have any adaptive athletes in your gym? Would they be able to tell me if they have? If you haven't, I think that's a massive opportunity for us. One, to get more people into CrossFit gyms, but two, for affiliates to grow their membership base. It's really simple. These things go hand in hand. They are not mutually exclusive. After that, I have got the Virtuous Coach Development coming on. Apparently coming on to discuss what she does with her company, with coaches, developing coaches and understanding at the gym floor. She's got an incredible online platform. I met her at Coaches Congress for the first time in person. We've been speaking recently, and she's a top quality lady that can really develop coaching. Again, the reason that we're having her on. And then I've got Gerard from Elite Gym Maintenance, who is a partner with the show, and Gerard is essential to CrossFit gyms. Like, all gyms up and down the country are using him. He's at the point where he's fully booked. He's unable to accommodate new people because he's excellence. He does what he wants, and he does it incredibly well. And he does it incredibly well. He will service. He puts out incredible content as well. He's a really top quality guy, and I'm so glad that he's on board. And what's nice is when people that are really good at their jobs and do a really good job are really top quality people as well. When you get those two things aligned, you couldn't ask for any more. So we've got some really cool guests on. I am speaking to a few other people. I am going to get a nice flow of British guests on, and also I will be doing a little bit earlier in the mornings. I did think about this as well with John. We were talking about we've tended to go a bit later in the day, around sort of midday onward, and then 7 p.m. our time, to capture a wider audience. The thing is with that is that we're not going to grow the British audience by going when the Americans are awake and gearing up for them. And then we got talking about like morning slots, like now at 9:30. That's like, Savon goes live at 7 o'clock his time, which spans across the US to about 10 a.m., doesn't it? Like, that's prime time for people to be viewing. Now, we were thinking no one will be watching, but that's what gets the views in the US. So why wouldn't it get the views in Europe, and especially in Britain? So we're going to be going that earlier time slot. So between 9:30 and 11 in the morning here, which is obviously going to be middle of the night for Americans, but that is the point. We want to grow the British contingency. So that's a little bit about the direction of the show and about what we're doing. I'll continue to be on this platform, this channel, at least for now, anyway. Now the Open is coming up. We've got 50 days, I believe. Thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you very much. And if you're awake now every day, Jeffrey, you'll get to see me as well. I get to see you as well. Open coming up, 50 days now. Sign up starts 14th, I think it is. Looking forward to that. Getting my 14 badge. Every year I go on, I get my new badge for signing up for the Open. That's basically why I do it, for a streak. And obviously 2 times a week, awesome. So you do the early shift a couple of times a week. Is that Tuesday, Thursday, or Monday, Thursday? Or what do you do? Let me know. See, that's the kind of thing that as an affiliate owner interests me. It's like your coaching patterns. Like, you don't want to do it. I wouldn't suggest doing 2 days on the bounce, but then if you're doing the evening the night before, you need to, there's all these little cool like chess pieces that you have to do with planning your staff rotas. And again, there's going to be a very select few people that find that chatter interesting. Like, I can't imagine, I don't know, Judy. I can't imagine Judy having a really big interest in discussion around coaching hours. Like, it doesn't really align with their viewership, does it? Monday, Thursday, yeah, cool, that's fine then. So yeah, I obviously when you first open and when you're new to it and that kind of thing, you want to work all the hours under the sun, but it gets to the point where you realize you can't. But Jeffrey, you're a bit more switched on than I was when I had my affiliates, so you're probably doing the right thing. But I do 2 early mornings a week as well, and it is Monday, Thursday. So Sunday, obviously, is a bit of a down day. You don't worry too much about getting up early on a Monday, and then a couple of days rest from the mornings, and then you're back Thursday. Works a treat. But it's those kind of things and those kind of discussions, Jeffro, that go a long way with coaches, bringing them in, involving them in when they can and would ideally coach, giving them your best experience, experiential advice. Like they might get a coach that's really gung ho and says, "Yeah, I want to do every morning on like Monday to Friday." It's like, no, you're not going to do that. You'll burn out, and then you'll be a naff coach. You'll miss something. Someone will get injured. You'll sleep in one day because you'll be too tired. It doesn't work that way. So those kind of systems chats are awesome, and I love them. But again, it's going to be a very select audience that want to talk about that. Oh, there's an idea for a show, Jeffro. I could pull up like a timetable and I could go through why optimally. Okay, here you've got this example gym has 2 full-time members of staff and 3 part-timers. These people can do these hours. Let's make a timetable for coaching. See, for me, that's a really cool idea for a show, but it might get like 3 views. I don't know. I do like that idea. I might do that just as a bit of fun for myself, really. Because it's like logic. It's like a puzzle, really. I see it like a Sudoku puzzle. Yeah, for. So, next on the list, Jethro, you're gonna like it. So open predictions. So, Jethro, have you got any predictions for the open? And my refined question to that is, I like your prediction on a repeated workout. So which workout, if there will be one, do you think will be repeated in this year's Open? Now, I've got a couple in my mind that I think are probably better and bigger candidates for it. A sneaky one that I've got a feeling will be repeated at some point is the workout from, I think it was 18, maybe 18 or 19. I think it was 18. Should we have a looky? It was, I'll tell you which one it was. It was the one where it was a 20-minute workout and it went 2 rounds and it was like double unders, CrossFit Games leaderboard. Let's go to this. So I'm just, let me share the screen so you can see what I'm doing. I feel rude otherwise. Let's have a look. Right, so how do we go to open workouts? There we go. Right. Does that change the screen? Yeah, good. Right. So let's go 20. I think it was 18. I used to love the 5 weeks. I'm sorry, but I did. No, not that one. It was the 20-minuter. Yes, this one. Right. So 14-minute cap. Fuck, I thought it was 20. Jesus. Right. So 2 rounds, 100 double unders, 20 overhead squats, 100 double unders, 12 ring muscle ups, 100 double unders, 20 dumbbell snatch, 100 double unders, 12 bar muscle ups. 2 rounds of that. Now, I remember at the time, I'm pretty sure one person finished it globally. And I want to say it was someone like Nick Matthews, you know. But yeah, one person finished it. Now, it's been 8 years since that workout. And because we're down to a 3-week cycle for the Open, I think the workouts need to include more of the movements than like a couplet every time. Now, I think a workout like this, you are getting a lot of bang for your buck in terms of the movements. Overhead squats, ring muscle ups, dumbbell snatches, bar muscle ups. So we're using that dumbbell, we're using the rings, we're using the barbell, and we're using the bar rig. So we're using all 4 bits of like the higher skill piece, external pieces around away from the rope. So I think I've got a sneaky Pete feeling. it is a week 3 workout. I've got a feeling we might see that one repeated. Now that would be my one. Now the other workout I've got a feeling that it might be is the pick your own destiny one. Now I'm trying to remember what year that was. No, that can fuck off that one. That was horrible. It might have been the following year. Where it was where you got to pick your own. Oh, that one would be shit as well. What year was it then? Can't have been 17. Was it 20? You know the one where it was like it was 30 ring muscle ups, 100 wall balls, 100 calorie row, and you basically chose the order in which you did it. No, not that one. Is it this one? Yeah, this one. Partition it anyway. 40 muscle ups, 80 calorie row, 120 wall balls. This one, I've got a strong suspicion that this one could come in. We haven't had wall balls in that amount of volume for a while. The rowing is obviously a standard, and then you get the muscle ups involved in there. I've got a feeling one of those two will be the repeat. Now, I've got the repeat. I've guessed it. Oh, bye, Jeffrey. Have fun coaching. Enjoy every minute of it. Yeah, I've got a suspicion it's going to be one of those two. That's my guess. They're my best guesses. Brought to you by Ron Wad. There's a blast from the past. That guy's voice used to really annoy me. Probably a lovely guy. So yeah, so that's the Open coming up. I'm looking forward to that. I'm kind of going through a bit of a strength cycle at the moment. I've done the last cardio Metcon I did was a 5K ski, and that was last Tuesday. So that was the last Metcon I did. All I've done so far since then, I've been training 4 times a week. And I'll tell you why I've been training 4 times a week in a minute. But I've been doing upper and lower twice a week, and I'm been training 2 hours a time. So I've been doing upper body push pull, lower body push pull, upper body push pull, lower body push pull, different exercises, varied rep ranges and loads, keeping it different, more functional bodybuilding style stuff. But with my background in power lifting, I like to use that power and expressing that as much as I can. And my theory is we've got 50 days into the Open. At any given point, like I did a 5K ski last week in 18 and a half minutes. And I don't feel like I really pushed as much as I could have. It does tell me that kind of 20-minute time domain is going to be there. I've got that in me, and I'm going to do one of them a week, those tough 20-minute sort of domains, just to make sure that I'm doing it right. For me, I probably need 3 weeks of refinement leading up to the Open to hit the sweet spot. Get my body weight relatively down. I'm at 91 kilos, which I think is about 206 pounds ish. I think, could be wrong there. 204, 205. But for me, the thing that a lot of people lack during the Open, it's not the Metcon, because we tend to focus on that. It's the power. It's the loads that people are put through with the body. I think they generally speaking, they fall flat there. As soon as a 60 kilo or 135 pound thruster comes up, they're fucked. For me, leading up to the Open, I refine it and go more power based. That just works for me. I know that gymnastics is going to be my downfall, but recently I have been doing some handstand walking work, which is fine. I did handstand push-ups for the first time since 2019 last week. They felt okay, absolutely fine. I just got to be careful of my neck, that's all. I can't drop down to my head. I have to lower, so I'm doing the negative, but it helps towards strength, which is great. It does slow me down, but that's what it is. But it's interesting leading up to the Open, trying different things and understanding how programming affects us at this point. That for me, going full gung ho and hitting very high intensity workouts every day leading up, and it doesn't marry up to what I've seen as my experience has been successful in the Open. And let's face it, the Open is pretty standard each year, especially at the moment. We've got 3 workouts to go through. You're going to get thrusters, chest to bar, thrusters, chest to bar, muscle ups. If you've got those 3 things nailed, everything else is going to be pretty straightforward for you. You've got a 20-minute, probably a 12-minute, and then another 8 to 10 minute. So those time domains, if you're a power athlete and you can push through and you've got a relatively good Metcon base up to 20 minutes, you're fine for the Open. The thing that is my sticking point is always going to be the high level gymnastics in volume. But I know that, and I'm not one to sacrifice the rest of my year and my health for the sake of pushing towards the sport side of things. So butterfly isn't on the cards for me. I will do muscle ups if I need to, and that only comes around at the Open for me. And I know that I've got them if I'm at relatively light body weight and my joints are nice and supple and healthy. So we're all good for there. So I'll be interested to know people's plans for the Open prep. Are you just continuing to do what you've been doing? Are you refining it at all? If you're at an affiliate, which ideally we all are you following the programming, and how has that programming been affected leading up since Christmas? So those kind of questions are really cool. And I will be asking my guest about that. Now, I want to introduce you to the newest member of my family. So I'm just going to get her here. The black leather Nano 2.0. I've missed these. Now, I talked about these the other day on the show, and they are absolutely solid. They're not flimsy. They are leather all the way around. And they are my favorite shoe of all time. And they're not going to be on there. By the time they're on there, like this one was 2015. These ones are 11 years later. I just love the look of them. They look so cool, don't they? They are a sexy shoe. But yeah, I wore them to the gym this morning when I coached and loved it. Right, so right, so I want to talk to you guys, and I said I was going to get to this. A little while ago, I had Pier Paolo on the show from Fitness Jeans. I have obviously been working with Fitness Jeans for 4 or 5 months now. Had the report sent across before the show where Pier Paolo came on. We talked about that. And around Christmas, there was obviously some downtime. I had looked at my report, but what I'd like to show you is, let me bring it up. Slides and PDFs. Here we go. Right. So. Right. I'm just going to upload my report. So I got a report from Pier Paolo with Fitness Jeans. And on the show, we went through a few different bits and pieces, some highlights of what Pier Paolo thought was going to be interesting. And it is, because it's me and it's genetic. Now, I will say the caveat to all of this is how we express our genes is very different to the genes that we have a lot of the time. So obviously, disabilities and genetic disabilities aside, we have tendencies genetically towards certain predispositions towards things. Now, how we use that is up to us a lot of the time. Now, just loading. Please bear with me. In the meantime, I will show you the Instagram account for Fitness Jeans. So Fitness Jeans, obviously on here, they are a British company, although Pier Paolo isn't British. He's of Italian descent, I believe. Yeah, we were on the show talking about it. But recently, the guys at Fitness Genes have been putting out these posts, and they are really damn cool. So what they'll do, they'll bring up something that's in the zeitgeist, something that's in the media, something that's fashionable, or something that's been discussed at the time. An example of that is, and one that really took my fancy yesterday, did your childhood shape how you handle stress? So these slides go through and they're really cool, and they break these questions down. So these questions come from media and what was going around at the time. A bit like Huberman, something will come out and they'll want to discuss it. The biology of resilience is an amazing, amazing handle. Do they call it a handle? Amazing, not a handle. That's a name, isn't it? Title. So epigenetic regulation of stress and cortisol. Now, the glucocorticoid receptors. Glucocorticoid receptors. There we go. We did it, guys. We got there. Glucocorticoid receptors are the things that turns the stress response on. Now, this is genetic, right? So different people have these genes, either stronger or weaker, right? So what we're saying here is that carriers of different genes have cortisol levels varying because of our genes. Now, obviously there's nature nurture here, but people with these varying genes have therefore got a very different response to cortisol and regulate it very differently. So what this is saying is, if we understand our own genetic predisposition, we can understand, right? It's brilliant. It's so cool. Now, obviously, I'm not going to bring up my cortisol because I'm not looking at that one. But this is the kind of report we're going to get. Now, you basically with Fitness Genes, you'll send off a saliva sample. The pack will be sent out to you. It goes out back to the lab. They test for all the genetic predispositions that we're looking for and the markers. It gives you this table, right? So it will give you a high priority, medium priority, a moderate, or low priority, right? So, for example, we're looking at here, my dopamine metabolism is I'm a worrier. I like to worry. Now, yeah, I do. But again, the whole emphasis on this, right, it's not an excuse to be shit. And it's not an excuse to say you can just basically roll over. What this is a flag and a call to arms for you to understand what you've got going on and what adaptations that you need to make. And that's exactly why this is so damn important. Because if you are someone that wants to progress and develop and learn about yourself and move on and find ways of moving. Hello, Sean. Hope you're well. You need to understand what's going on genetically. If we understand genetically what we've got going on, then we can move on from it and find ways to adapt, which is really damn important. And for a coach, for a trainer that understands this kind of thing, amazing. Now, one thing that I talked about a minute ago was that I'm training 4 times a week at the moment. The reason I'm doing that and the reason I'm going with power is because, and I had it confirmed to me on these tests. Now, I didn't mention this at all to Pierre Paolo. I didn't say how often I train. I didn't give him any information about my type of training and what I'm used to be doing and what I'm better at and what my priorities are in development areas. This confirmed it. Now I'm 40 now. I've been doing CrossFit for a long old time. I'm coming up to my 15-year anniversary of CrossFit. I've naturally fallen into this habit of training about 4 times a week, having a couple of active recovery days where I will be out with the kids or I'll go for a walk in the woods on my own and just cry. That's a lie. But I've naturally slipped into that, and I use my power base and my predisposition, I found out, towards power to develop my training. There's a few bits in here that are really, really cool and confirm that. So where are we? Which one was it I was wanting to cook for? Is it in here? Pro-social behavior. Apparently I'm like an empath. Apparently I understand people. I'm full of oxytocin. That's probably why I'm so fertile. Dopamine metabolism. So low priority. So I'm normal, basically. But yeah, effectively, what is going on with me is that oh, here we go. So the cortisol regulation. So I'm a low priority. So I process cortisol very well. It's a low priority for me. I'm very, very rarely stressed. And part of that obviously is going to be adaptations that I've made, the way that I deal with stress. I've learned that through behaviors, but I'm genetically predisposed to deal with stress very well. And again, what I like to think about here as well is, as a trainer, because I deal with stress quite well, I have to understand that other people don't. It is a bit early, yes, Sean, it is, but I'm hoping to move forward with this. It's a new thing. I'm going to be going live around this time, moving forward. But it's lovely for you to join me. It's kind of like, I see it as an advantage that I deal with stress really well, right? So I've got a genetic advantage there, right? So when it's similar. Imagine you've got someone that's like short-limbed, has been going to gymnastics since they were a kid, walking into a CrossFit gym and coaching and saying, why can't you just do pull-ups? Why can't you do handstand push-ups? Why can't you do ring muscle-ups easily? If you've got a predisposition towards something, it's very difficult to understand why other people don't have the ability to do something, which is the essence of being a good trainer. The essence is to understand other people as a trainer. You're not needing to understand yourself, but in understanding why you've got these benefits and these advantages, you can understand that why people don't respond immediately the way that you want them to, right? So for me, this is a link in that chain of making me a better coach and a better trainer. And which is why these reports are an insanely good tool for trainers to use, not only for themselves, to pass on to their clients and for their members. And I've actually filmed a question this morning that I'm going to put out onto Instagram today. And what it's about, I'm asking coaches and gym owners in the CrossFit space, specifically in England, Britain, have you seen an uptick in nutrition discussion and refinement of nutrition and the base of the pyramid that you'd expect at a gym? Because I'm not sure we see that in CrossFit gyms as much as other gyms. We don't get the New Year's resolution types sorting out their nutrition in New Year because we tend to be more consistent with it throughout the year. Funny enough, my wife and I just joked about what an awful therapist I'd be. Have you tried just getting over it? Yeah, again, like, see, people can't just get over shit, can they? And in your mind, because you've got that ability to just go, meh, we imagine that other people should be able to do that. But understanding the reality of the situation is they can't. And it's not a sake of willpower. It's not for the lack of want. It's genetic, I think, a lot of the time. Now, yes, it's not an excuse to be shit. It's not an excuse to give up. It's not an excuse to just say, I can't be bothered. What it is it's a flag, it's a stake in the ground, and it's to say, this is where I'm at, but I need to now find tools to help me offset this. And that's, and again, like people like Athena understands this very fucking well. She understands it personally, and she understands it with all of her clients that she works with. We need to, before we tell people, you need to move on, here are the tools. Before we do that, we need to acknowledge that they have got a problem and it's real for them. And we need to have empathy with it, and we need to understand where they're at. Because what we can't do is just bulldoze our way through saying, your shit, change. Unfortunately, the majority of people do not work that way. They don't operate that way. And it's very, very obvious, because if people were able to just snap out of it and move on and change behaviors instantly, just with an acknowledgement that they do need to, the world wouldn't be the way it is. It doesn't work that way. And unfortunately, it doesn't. But there's opportunity there. And to develop and to use that opportunity, we have to understand first. You have to, it's, I'll tell you what it's the equivalent of, right? It's the equivalent of, I've got a crude analogy here, but I won't. Doing an induction at the gym. When people walk in the gym, you don't just go, right, 1 RM back squat, let's go. And then they fail. And you say, see, you're shit. You need more CrossFit. We don't do that because we understand that that isn't the right way to do things. We get them in, we onboard, we discuss goals, we understand development areas. The first thing I ask every single session that I coach, whether it's powerlifting, whether it's learning to lift at our local council gym, whether it's in the CrossFit affiliates, whether it's the weightlifting team that I'm coaching, whoever it is, whether it's PT, have you got any concerns or injuries that I need to adapt for today? That is the first question I ask the group or the individual, because I understand that I need to adapt for individuals and groups. You can't just have one blanket approach for everyone to just go by. And that is the essence of CrossFit. That's scaling. That is what scaling is. Bringing the workout to meet people where they're at. We should understand this as a community. We can't just bulldoze our way through saying, your shit, change. That doesn't work. That's down the line. We need to get people to the point where they're willing to do that. And to get them to the point where they're willing to do that, we need to understand where they're at. We can't just go bulldozing in. It does not work. And the best trainers and the best coaches in the world, they understand that. And I think there's a big disconnect between coaches that are very vocal online, that are giving it Billy big bollocks about your shit and CrossFit's the cure. And we don't want your type here. And it's for anyone, but not everyone. I believe in that. I believe it's for anyone, but not everyone. Not everyone's going to want to do CrossFit, but that should be their choice, not ours. They should choose whether they want CrossFit or not. We do not buckle and change. We do not change what we do for people. It stays the path. What we do works, and we understand that. Everyone is welcome to come in and give it a go. And it's up to them whether it's right for them or not us. We don't boot people out the gym because they're not being able to do muscle ups. So that's an idea that, that we should run with, I think. Another analogy might be a guy going on a date and expecting to get somewhere without talking to the person. Like, you don't just bulldoze in and go, right, you bed. Well, you might, but it doesn't work that way. You have to understand people. You have to understand where they're at. You have to understand their wants, their needs, their desires, what their goals are, what they're trying to achieve, what they want in life. You have to have that. You can't not. And the people that I've seen, let's talk the British CrossFit scene, right? I know, Sean, that might not mean much to you. So the coaches that came out of Britain that have been here the longest, that are thriving still after 10 to 20 years, the first 3 that I can name, 4, Ollie Mainsbridge, Andy Edwards, Denise Thomas, Carl Stedman, right? 4 names there, 4 very, very big names. All 4 of them truly understand people. They know how to listen, and they know how to meet people where they're at. And all you need to do to hear that is just to hear them talk. They understand. Now, what they don't do is throw themselves and their beliefs and their ideals at people and say, if this shit doesn't stick, you're not one of us. They are the Brits that have been in CrossFit for the longest time. They are the people that have done so damn well out of what we do. And they're the ones that have got the best reputations because they understand, and they have helped thousands upon thousands of people do this thing that we love. That is what will work. That is what will continue to drive CrossFit forward, and to retain and to get more people into the affiliates. They are the people that will do that. And they're the people that I'm keen to highlight and ask questions to. I want to know more from them. And again, Sean, I know you'll love this. I mean, you might because you're an electrician, aren't you? Think of it as like a circuit board, right? So we were talking about the coaching hours, like timetable. You have no idea unless you have been involved with this, the stress of managing a coaching timetable. And God forbid one of the full timers gets ill or goes on holiday. Blimey. But again, that doesn't mean much to anyone. But if I did a show where I had a timetable platform and I gave some examples of these coaches and tried filling up this timetable, I think it might be quite interesting, But again, it might be interesting to like 3 people. But it's the kind of thing that I enjoy. It's like a Sudoku. I am very into British CrossFit. And again, like Lucy came second at the games. Like we've got a podium athlete in the female division, which is arguably, more fiercely contended than the guys has been anyway. We've got Amy, the Manx missile. And again, I've kind of avoided speaking to the athletes in so much as it's not my forte, the top level, but, and here's the big caveat to this now, Harry and Lucy are both level 2 coaches. Lucy especially works at Nottingham and is an affiliate coach. She volunteers at competitions and she widely accepts herself as a CrossFit trainer. Harry's done his level 2 obviously recently. For me, that bridges the gap to where I'm at. So I'm going to do my best to try and get some time with them. And I will try and get some time with Amy because I think she's got a lot to offer. And obviously we've got the Manx connection here. So I'll do my best. I was hesitant because I didn't think I would be able to offer them anything. I didn't feel like I would be the right platform for them. The game stuff's really cool and I love it at the time, but it's not what I enjoy talking about too much. I don't have the right questions. It would be like Savon talking to a tiler or an electrician. He probably won't have much to talk about. Me talking to games athletes is a bit like that. I respect what they do and I love watching it, but I don't really have that forte of questions. Whereas if Lucy came on and we were talking about coaching and we were talking about planning and we were talking about prep and scaling up, I mean, there you go. And I might ask questions about how she has this disparity between her as an athlete and what she can do. And then how she relays that back to her what's the word? Not herd. Flock. There we go. Her flock at the affiliate. Because Lucy's really, really cool. Like a lot of she's obviously come to the forefront a little bit over the last sort of 6 months. But she seems like a really cool person as well. And I'd like to understand her as a person more because I don't think she's had much in terms of that. And also my daughter went to the gymnastics club that she used to go to in Windsor, which is shut now. Bray Studios took it over. So where they shoot James Bond and stuff, it expanded and it went onto the land and they've taken over the land that the club was on. So they've had to, move, unfortunately. But there we go. Good morning, Sabir. Sabir, did you hear my song that I wrote? Shall I play it on here? I don't know if it'll work very well. I won't play on there. Yeah, Sabir, are you in? Right, and I'll tell you why. Because hang on. Oh, was it here? Hang on. Yes. Right. So hold the line. I spent a long time looking at these lyrics, right? And I'm so proud of these lyrics. Now, let me see if I can press. Right, here we go.
It's the Bass Show, where the Brits bring the bands. We're on the 7 network, but we cool underwear pants.
Right. Funny, isn't it? Yeah. Because we call underwear pants, because we do. Right. Listen to these lyrics a bit. I don't know if you've got the speakers on, but listen to these lyrics, right? Some of them are very clever.
It's our favorite crystal. What's it? That's cheese puff chips for you, yeah.
Right. Because we have cheese puffs over here are called what's it's, right? So anyway.
We ain't toxic, we have manners. Always say please and thanks. Our teeth all look like shrapnel, and our prince is a nonce.
Our teeth look like shrapnel, but our prince is a nonce, right? It's because of Prince Andrew. Wait for it.
We had Isaac Newton's that will hit him straight on the bones.
Right. So now we're entering into where we promote what Britain's had in the past, right? So our prince is a nonce, but we had Isaac Newton's apple hit him straight on the bonce. A bonce is a head, right?
It's the gravity of
the issue, because he discovered gravity and worked on it from the apple, right? The gravity of the issue
was that we are the base, and being British means we're fittish and an average face.
I love that. Being British means we're fittish with an average face, right? Anyway, carry on.
It's the Bass Show. We're lifting moods and our lifts are dead.
Right. We're lifting we're lifting and our lifts are dead because of the deadlift, right? Wait for it.
It's the Bass Show. This too will probably go over your head.
Probably go over your head, as in the barbell, but you don't understand what we're talking about, right? Here we go.
From the land of fish and chips, Henry VIII and his wife.
From the land of fish and chips and Henry VIII and his wives.
As the World Wide Web and DNA won us the Nobel Prize.
Because our scientists discovered the World Wide Web and DNA, right? That won us the Nobel Prize.
Charlie Darwin with his beard gave us natural selection.
Right, Charlie Darwin with his beard gave us natural selection. Right? Are you with me? Are you with me? Are you with me? Hang on. Gave us natural selection. Now, here comes my favorite line of the whole thing.
Dr. Terrence's blue pills gives your granddad erections.
Dr. Terrence's blue pills. Dr. Terrence was the Londoner that invented Viagra. Dr. Terrence's blue pills gives your granddad erections. That is an incredible line to rhyme with natural selection. Right, anyway.
Bernard Matthews would have fun with the feathers we ruffle.
Right, Bernard Matthews is a turkey and chicken company in the UK. Bernard Matthews would be jealous of the feathers we ruffle.
The man took our guns.
The man took our guns.
But we're here for a scuffle. We never called it
a scuffle. How did I rhyme scuffle with ruffle? Amazing. Right, now here's another line that I really like that I added in last minute. I didn't know whether to add it in, but we went with it anyway, right?
No buts or maybes.
We don't call the arse a fanny. No buts or maybes, right?
Because that's what we call the bits. You push out your baby, so...
Because that's what we call the bits you push out your babies. Because we call a fanny, a vagina a fanny, not a bum. So no buts or maybes, because that's the bits we call because that's the parts we push the bits out of your babies. I mean, it works.
With a stiff upper lip.
With a stiff upper lip after he's just talked about the parts that you push out your babies with.
Keep it real as you like. We include you in our...
There's a line. Now, Sabir, you're going to love this. You're going to love this. And this is going to go well over people's heads. We include you in our humor, right? We include you in our humor because we put the letter U in the word humor and the Americans don't spell it with a U. We include you in our humor, right?
Humor, we just do it like
Nike.
Don't get
ticked off because Nike's the tick.
Because this is all for fun. We're not on TikTok.
We're not on TikTok.
Because we're over 21.
It's the Bass Show.
Repulsive to some.
If you'd have turned off by now, you wouldn't hear the last bit. Wait. There's a bit of a breakdown at the moment.
It's the Bass Show.
Wait, it's coming. Wait.
Say.
Wait. Hello. Your mum. Say hello to your mum. That's all right, Governor. Yeah, and do you know what, Sean? Thanks a bit. I might just put out the lyrics on a post. I'm glad you didn't understand the references because one, it's a talking point. It does need sausages, doesn't it? But two, it's supposed to be the launch of the British side of this channel, and everyone in Britain will understand all those the context of all them and the lyrics, and they're the people that this is supposed to be talking to. But also, it's a bit of a share of context with the Americans towards some language. So that's and I love writing lyrics. I absolutely love writing lyrics. I've never had an outlet for it before. I've got fucking thousands, right? Good. I like that. It's provocative. It gets the people going. But I love writing lyrics. And so it gave me an opportunity. I was like, oh, yeah, I'll get to this. And also, I enjoyed doing it. It was a little bit of fun for me when we were sat in the hospital. But yeah, all good. I might do them every now and again, just write a song. Because it's what I enjoy doing. And also, do you know what? I might actually get a few British people on from the music scene because me and Jon are obviously big fans of the music scene over here. So be interesting. CrossFat, you here now? Do you like my new black solid leather twos? Oh, they are so damn nice. Look at that fresh. Oh, woo. No, I wouldn't call it talent. I just call it boredom. Let's get to one song only. They are formal. Do you know what? Do you know the other funny thing? My boys got new school shoes sort of type things, and they're pretty much exactly the same, but it's absolutely solid. My only thing with the twos is that the panel at the front here, the toe box, this can get a little worn, and because I flare my big toe because I'm a retard, I always get a little hole eventually here. But these ones being leather, it will not happen. Oh my god, they're so beautiful. They are a thing of beauty. How do those hold up compared to Metcons? I wouldn't know, Sean, because the Metcons are shit. I cannot stand Metcons, as you well know. Now, if you have a look at this heel, this is the same height as the toe box, right? I need flat and hard, so to speak. I keep looking at them. They're just so damn sexy. They're like the Halle Berry of my shoe collection. Yeah, you're right. And if I did rope climbs, they probably would. So, yeah. Cross that. And Sean, have you got any guesses for a repeat workout in the Open this year? I've got two. I talked about them earlier when you were asleep. I've got two guesses. Have you got one that you think a repeat that might come up? Early nanos were what we needed. Yeah, absolutely. Have I? No. Do you know what? I've never worked in a restaurant. I did a paper round or route, as you guys call it. Why do we call it a round and you call it a route? Weird, that, isn't it? Same thing. So from the age of 11, I did that. I did like chores and jobs around the house to earn pocket money before then. But yeah, I worked in shops. Worked in like a phone shop from the age of 18 when you're allowed to in the UK because you're dealing with financial agreements and licensing. So I did that the week I turned 18, which was 2003. Sorry. So March 2003, I did that. Before that, I worked in clothes shops, working kids shops, like prams and shit like that. But I've never worked serving food and drink, actually. Yeah, the whole working in food and drink thing, I've never really been a fan of doing that myself. I don't really like restaurants, to be fair. I don't like the noises of restaurants. They won't do it, but 13.1 would be great. Was that the snatch and double under? I can't. Let's, without sounding like an utter twat, right? Which is hard for me. I do get confused now. Like I've lost track of the years and all that kind of shit. Now, this is one of them. I've got two guesses. This one being 20 minutes, but again, it's a time cap, so it's not an AMRAP. We'll obviously have the 20-minute AMRAP probably for week one. This one, partition as you like. It's volume wall balls, which you haven't had for a little while. Calorie row, which we haven't had for a little while, like volume, and a bit of high skill work. Partition as you like. A repeat from 8 years ago. I think that might be an option. The other one, cross fat, and Sean, I think you were around here. Not that one. We found it earlier on. Nope. Was it 19? I think it might have been 19. Oh no, this one. So this one, that was it Nick Matthews? It was like one person finished it globally. I think it's time to repeat that. I think we've had enough time between then and now, between when this comes up. It's a for time, 14-minute, similar kind of domain than what we used to do for time caps over the last few years. Bit of high skill development, Metcon, a lot of double unders could be involved. I like the idea of that one being involved. What was it, 13.1 you said about? What? 13. If you're looking for the one, you found it. Open workout really still. What? Weird. 13.1. Let's go to workout one. Let's see if. Oh, it's down the bottom there. Burpees. Oh shit. Last time we did that, I think I got up to the 80 kilo-ish bar. Which one's that? 106. I think I got onto here somewhere. I think. Now, again, I've got no idea where I'd get to now. No fucking idea. This page is a bit weird, isn't it? This is one of the older ones, I guess. But yeah. Cool. Looks like a good shout. Looks like a good shout. Why do you hope they don't repeat, Sean? Interesting. I'm with you to some respect, because I do like a new workout. I like getting my teeth stuck in. I don't like redoing workouts. Once I know how bad it hurts, it's hard for me to go back to that. Ooh, Stacey Tovar. I hope rings about. Yeah, when did we do last? 24, because we had the repeat, didn't we, of 14.4. Was it 14 before we repeated? Whatever that one was, when it was 20 ring muscle-ups and you're back to the rower, whatever year that was. That was a couple of years ago, wasn't it? I do like the idea of rings because they're different and they stagger a lot of people, whereas bar muscle-ups tend to... I was so damn surprised last year when in the Open, when the bar muscle-ups came up, how many men have got bar muscle-ups. Like it was like something like 95% of the men that did the workout got at least 2 bar muscle-ups. That's such a high percentage to what I would imagine. Whereas rings, especially on the female field compared to the men, generally speaking, your RX athletes at the gym, not the elite, but the RX athletes at the gyms, the rings are a massive differentiator between the elite and the RX. There's a big difference. Yeah, and there's a big gap before that. If it's the rings, we need the row workout that ends with the ring muscle ups. But yeah, the one that I said about a minute ago, that I think that obviously the difference, because the bar was only introduced in what, 2016, was it? 16, 17 bar muscle ups. Before that, it was just rings, wasn't it? I think the bar gives more gives wider access to the muscle up movement for regular people. More people can do bar muscle ups than rings. And I think for that reason, we should probably involve rings again. We've had bar muscle ups every year for the last fucking 5 years, probably. Equipment, I guess, it's just thinking from a programming perspective. I guess it makes more sense to have a bar muscle up. But for me, I like the rings involved, again, for selfishly, because I'm as good at rings as I am with bar. So for me, it doesn't really, I learned rings before I did a bar muscle up. But for a lot of people, I think having a bar muscle up involved might be a wider accessible movement for people. So it's more inclusive. I hate to use that word, but I think it is more inclusive. But yeah, interesting. I like your thoughts. What else was I going to look at? There was something. Oh, we got the dentist next week. Contrary to popular belief, we do go to the dentist. Jesus, I've had a... oh, good. My athlete, or I say my athlete, an athlete for the Isle of Man Weightlifting Association is now part of the British weightlifting pathway, which is awesome. So we've got 2 teenagers now that are on the British weightlifting pathway, which is really cool. One of them is a world champ at the para bench. And Harry is a decent lifter. He's young. He's been doing CrossFit since the age of 8. Found his niche with weightlifting. He's a lightweight lifter, as in body weight. And he's at that awkward age. I don't know if you went through it as well. He's 17, turning 18. But he needs to eat more. I don't know if you had that problem around that age, but I had the same thing. I didn't want to eat, as in it wasn't a priority for me. And I would go hours and hours and hours without eating and then realize I was crashing. So, but in sport, obviously it's essential fueling. So we do have a really good nutrition team on the island. So Harry's working with them. So hopefully we can get Harry up a weight class soon and that will boost his numbers a lot. But even with that in mind, he is on the British pathway, which is fantastic. I can only hit a few on the rings. Yeah. Cool. Right. So it's coming up time now. We're coming up to 10:50 a.m. here. So just to recap, direction for this show is a bit earlier in the daytime and British. I'm assembling Team GB. Oh, that's a good name. Might call them that. And we're going to promote the shit out of British CrossFit scene. A few big players involved, yeah. And we'll see where that takes us. To the stars. Nano 2s, get them. They're available now. There is brown ones available, but the brown ones have got this like gold like outline all over it. Had to step away. Will this be on the new All CrossFit news channel? That is a fantastic question, Sean. And in all honesty, I don't know. I can't give you an answer to that. Now, from where I'm sat right here, it doesn't matter a blind bit which one of them it goes out on. I will be doing this in this mic with this thing, camera. So for me, it doesn't make too much of a difference. Now, where it goes, I'm not sure. So we'll see about that. But for me at the moment, it doesn't really matter too much. But thanks for asking. It does look like a good idea, though. I think, like Suze has said and what Savon has relayed, is that Savon's passion is predominantly, I'd say, 80% of the time. It works every time. 80% of the time, he's talking politics, America. And let's be honest, that doesn't really have much to do with CrossFit and the affiliates and the athletes. So if that is in any way impacting the ability to the algorithm to push the CrossFit work that everyone's doing, including his own, if that's impacting the ability for that to reach people and promote it, then it's probably a good idea to set up a new one and put all the CrossFit content on there. Because that way the algorithm will, oh dear. Just heard a smash from downstairs. Hang on a minute. Apologies. Savon is blaming himself too much for those shoes not getting views, but that's just my opinion. No, I think it, like, Hiller understands it as well. I think the way that the YouTube algorithm works is it will push it towards people that have got certain interests and what they've clicked on. Now, if your shows keep getting buzzed for politics, it's not going to push that towards the CrossFit dedicated audience. There's a reason Hiller doesn't talk about all the shit on his channel. All that shit is because he understands that, and you've seen this, the way that his channel's grown because of it. Pedro's the same. Look at Pedro's channel, the way that's grown. So it makes perfect sense. And the good news is, if it doesn't do anything, it doesn't work, they just one click of a switch and they're back on this channel. So it doesn't detract from anything. They're already at like 2,500 subscribers. So, and that will only grow, and it will be new listeners probably. Now, my question, I guess, off the back of this is that algorithm also looks towards geographical push as well. And if the shows are always going to be talking about American politics, American CrossFit, will that be impacting the ability to push towards a British crowd? I'm not sure. I don't know. It's something that we'll obviously have to talk and think about ourselves. But either way, I enjoy doing this. I enjoy coming on. I enjoy talking about this. And I have a really good direction and a really good feeling about 2026 and the direction that we want to go in. Bringing you on board more, bringing Steve on board more, bringing Steve and Rainer on board more, bringing a whole host of people on that are going to have input and be productive and are going to want to help with this thing. We're going to make this awesome. Wherever and whatever it's on, it will be awesome. And I'm really looking forward to it. It'll give us a lot of purpose and a lot of an ability to get into the affiliates, because we've talked about this before, but we've got to understand that the average British CrossFit gym has very, 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 very little exposure to the American CrossFit media. Very little. The algorithm doesn't push it. The British viewership is different. People at different times of the day. Live stuff goes differently. Recorded stuff, the algorithm pushes differently. People have different viewing habits over here. So if you walked into the average CrossFit gym in the UK, very, very few people would know who Hiller is, who Savon is. They're more likely to know who Pedro is. And there's a very good reason for that. And same with US gyms. If you walk into a US affiliate, more people are going to know who Andrew Hiller, who Danny Spiegel, who Daniel Brandon, who Savon Matosian are, than they are Lucy Campbell, Jason Fitness Media, Pedro. They're more likely, but there's a reason for that. Now, for me personally, and we talked about this earlier, there's a massive, massive opportunity, because we are the 4th biggest CrossFit nation on earth, Britain. There's a massive opportunity to, I don't want to say infiltrate because that sounds nefarious, but get into, have a presence in the CrossFit affiliates in Britain. There's no one in the media space doing that role, doing that job, and purely focusing on the affiliates. I'm not talking spanning across the sports and going to the games and talking to athletes and that kind of thing. I am talking about affiliate level shit. And I think we've got a really good opportunity. And building that is going to be my priority for this year. And bringing on a team of people that are going to want to do that with me. So that's the path that we're going to take. So yeah, all good. Anyway, Sean, what time is it there? Is it like coming up to 6 o'clock a.m. for you now? Maybe 5? Don't know. Are you about to go on your run? Probably. Anyway, right, guys, thank you for joining me. Jethro, who was here about an hour ago, Sabir, and Kelly for listening. Crossfat, Sean Lenderman. Who else we had today? That is, we had Wade from Texas, wading in Texas. Thank you for joining me live on the Base Show on the Savon channel. Good. Have fun doing your sexy stretch. Thanks for joining me, guys. I hope to see you very soon. I'm live again on Sunday with Abby Wynne Jones. So I look forward to that. I'll post about Abby coming up before Sunday. But thank you all for joining me. I hope you have a glorious day, whatever you get up to. Always live at 70%. Any higher, wasted space. Any lower, miserable. Have a lovely day, guys. Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy your gyms. Enjoy being healthy. I'll see you all soon.